Hey guys, we'll go ahead and give it a few minutes and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So before we get started, I just want to tell everyone, if you aren't trading on Blowfin, definitely do so. It's a non-KYC exchange and is one of the best out there. Links in the description, as well as other links that we have, my X account, Telegram, YouTube, etc. So definitely check them all out, and it's going to be a good stream. We're going to go over a lot of different charts, look at what I'm looking for, different support and resistance levels, what I'm thinking of the overall market, and then where we can go from there. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments, and I will answer them accordingly. So looking at Bitcoin right now, it is at 95,900. A lot of people were thinking that we were going to break out of this 50 EMA on the daily. Unfortunately, that did not happen. We started to break above it and then quickly curve back to the downside. So right now we just continue in this range, and this RSI here, unfortunately, is now rejecting off of this 45 level back to the downside. The stock RSI is looking like it wants to reject back to the downside as well. So guaranteed, this was a huge fake out for a lot of people. So a lot of people thought we were going to continue higher from here. Things were rounding out. It looked like a bottom, but again, nonetheless, we did reject back to the downside. So, you know, a couple things to think about here is, if you actually look at what the current news is and the reason for this recent rejection, I'm sure that we can find a reason for it. So one is basically everything that's going on with the Fed, as well as things going on between Doge and different judges, and again, that uncertainty with the macro environment. So that's something to keep in mind, is anytime there's uncertainty, then you have things like these where the market continues to chop. So keep that in mind. Right now for Bitcoin, I would place limit orders near this 92K level because it has bounced here in the past. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times it's bounced in the past. Again, more times the support is hit, the more chance that is probably going to be broken, but nonetheless, the DCA here at 92K is not a bad level, and then potentially just below around 89K here would be a good level as well. I could see it sweeping the lows here and then curving back to the upside as well. So 2 levels I'm watching. Again, you can place limit orders on Blowfin, low 3x leverage at 92K and 89K. Very, very easy there. I also have a tutorial for Blowfin for anyone who doesn't know. Just go to my channel and you can see it's one of the most recent videos there. Now, for resistance, 100K is the big resistance here, as well as this 50 EMA at 98.3K. I'm expecting this to act as resistance as it has over the past few days, so watching this very closely. But if we can break and close above this 98.3K, then that will give me some hope that potentially we could be breaking this 100K and going to retest this previous 106.4K resistance. Now looking at Ethereum. So Ethereum's another one. Again, I thought it was going to do good. It started around and bottom here. You had the RSI curving to the upside with stock RSI curving to the upside on the daily, yet it rejected as well. So this is one of those things where it's going to take a lot for us to really change trends here, to get out of this hole that we're in, to get out of this chop that's going on, because honestly, again, until we have that certainty in the market, we're probably going to continue to have this chop, unfortunately. Now, certainty, I mean, with tariffs, if Trump comes to an agreement with China and the EU, and also if there's some more clarity between the actual judges in the United States and with Trump, as well as a few other things as well. So that's something that I'm trying to, look for. Whenever we can get that clarity, then we can start seeing the market start to recover. But as far as Ethereum is concerned, right now on Blowfin, what I would do is I would place a limit order at 2370. So if you guys, again, I know I haven't been posting many trades, but one of the main reasons is because we do have a lot of chop. I'm not trying to get people chopped up right now. But I would say place a limit buy at 2370 on 3x leverage. It'll be a great bet here, as well as 2170. So if you can place 2 limit orders, again, all you have to do is go to Blowfin and basically go to Ethereum, click on limit, and then you can type in the price and type however much you want to bet. 10% in your portfolio, 15%, etc. And then type in the price 2370 and you can bet here. So, because I believe what's going to happen is we may end up coming down a little bit, maybe dipping below and then curving back to the upside, or dipping below, rejecting, going back down, and then curving back to the upside like that. One of these I'm assuming is going to happen if we continue this chop like we have. Again, we could just continue this chop and then go back to the upside, but I'm not trying to front run this too much to where I'm buying it here and then we end up dropping further, right? Because trading, it's all about risk reward. So what I would do is 2370 and then 2170. So these 2 levels, probably good levels to buy, especially because they've acted as such good support in the past. I'm gonna be watching this closely, assuming that the RSI is gonna get oversold on the daily before we have a bounce, which could again take us to this 2370 level. Now, resistance wise, 2750 is what I'm watching. So you can see here, October and August of last year, rejected off the 2750 level on the daily. So, and then here, there's a lot of chop around this 2750 level. So I'm expecting at the very least some type of contention around this level. So I would say you could also play the breakout trade here where we have 2750, it breaks out and then it retests it as support and it goes back to the upside. So that's another trade you can make. So either A, on Blowfin, either place long on the retest of support at 2750 or 2370 and 2170. So again, because right now we're in the middle of a range, so not trying to front run this too much, waiting for more clarity before I do that. So that's what I'm looking for on Ethereum. Then obviously after 2750, you're looking for that 3000 level as the big area of resistance. Now, looking at the ETH BTC chart. So this is another one where we had this huge wick to the downside at 0.023. A lot of people are thinking now that it is going to, this was the bottom, and now ETH BTC is going to start outperforming. So tentatively, I am looking bullish towards this because one of the big reasons is for the RSI on the weekly, we are oversold right now. So if we can actually close this weekly below and we stay oversold, that would be extremely bullish for us, and then we could have that momentum to then curve back to the upside and continue higher. So that's something I'm watching as well. And also, let's go ahead and bring the EMAs up here in real time. So these are the weekly EMAs. So if you see here, input, so there's the 200, the 100, and the 50 EMA. So if we go on the daily, let's see where they're at. So you can see here, whenever ETH BTC crossed below these, it was not good, and then it stayed below them and acted as resistance. So what I want to see is obviously for us to break above all three, but the closest one right now is going to be this 50 EMA. So looking at the RSI on the daily, we do have, you know, tentatively higher lows on the RSI, so that does look good. So watching that closely here. But again, we still have all three of these EMAs, which is going to act as a big resistance. So the closest resistance right now is 0.03. So if we can get above 0.03, it's going to be very bullish. You can see that in March of 2021, 0.03 was huge support, now turned resistance. So that's why I'm watching it closely. And then you can see where we bounced in November of last year, support turned resistance of 0.034. And then this big resistance line, this trend line resistance, is a big level everyone should be watching. It has been resistant since September 2022. So guys, make sure that you're watching these big significant levels, because these are the levels that all the whales are watching. All the big wallets are watching, because ETH BTC has been underperforming for 2.5 years. Once we break this trend line, things will get interesting. So make sure you guys are paying attention to this, but things are looking interesting. And I do think that potentially we could see some bullishness as well. So keep an eye on this. Next, let's go ahead and look at XRP. So XRP is one where, again, it's been doing fairly, you know, it's been doing okay. And one of the reasons why is because of the ETF. So you had XRP and Litecoin with an ETF. And people, you know, institutions have been filing for both of these ETFs. So now it's not just Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, where Solana is eventually going to get approved. But now you have XRP and Litecoin. And so you've seen that with XRP's performance where, again, it hasn't been doing crazy, but nonetheless, it's been holding where it's at. So that's why I'm very, very interested in watching that. And you can see the next resistance level is $2.60. With the support, I'm looking at this 100-day EMA on the daily at 220, and then really major support near $2. So if I were you guys and you're bullish on XRP, I would place some limit orders near $2. I would say that's a good level to DCA. And then for resistance, again, you're gonna have some big resistance here around 260 because it's coinciding with the 21 and the 50 EMA, and then 275. So either A, you can wait for it to break above this 260, regain it as support, and then continue higher, or for it to go back to the downside and then around this $2 level, buy it right there. So again, either trade here could be valid, but looking at the RSI right now, it is still sideways, so not really too much conviction on this, but the stock RSI is oversold, but again, it's starting to curve back to the downside. So yeah, it shows you how quick these altcoins can change. I mean, literally one day, literally last night, everything was looking bullish, and then it took just one little drop and everything is now looking bearish. So you got to be able to adapt in this market. That's the big thing. Now looking at the chat, Simon says, hi data, why can I verify in Gym Hunters with the first step? Blowfin user ID, 100% sure that I used the referral link. Yeah, Simon, good question. So I think that they may have some issues with the bot because there's so many people trying to sign up. So for now, you can keep trying, just wait it out, wait for updates from Luke and wait for updates from the group before joining. So yeah, unfortunately, it's just congestion. And when you have thousands of people trying to use the bot, Telegram wasn't made for that. So that's the only thing. I mean, it's unfortunate. Again, Luke was trying to prepare for it, hired a dev, tried to hire, make sure the bot could handle it. But I think the amount of people that came, it was just too much for the bot. So gonna be a few more days of tweaking, or maybe even may fix it today. But yeah, expect that to get fixed very soon. Hey, Asubone, good to see you. Glad to have you here. And then ZeroX, hey, good to see you, man. Always good to have you here. So yeah, guys, like I said, I'm trying to have these live streams Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So trying to keep you guys updated in the market. And because, there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. So figured I'd start doing these kind of like Tyrell's doing with his live streams 24/7 in the trenches. So trying to do a little twist on this with the live trading. So yeah, I figured to help a lot of people out, especially when there's so much uncertainty, and figure I can help you out with the good entries as well. So if you guys have any questions on charts I should look at, definitely let me know. Now for USDT dominance, this is another chart that everyone should be watching. So USDT.D. So with this chart, basically dominance means when it's rising, people are getting out of Bitcoin and alts, investing in stables. And then when it's dropping, people are getting out of stables and investing into Bitcoin and alts. So right now, it does not look the best. Not even gonna lie. This, I mean, basically we had this trend line. It broke below it, which was very bullish for us. November, we had a huge run. It almost broke back above it, but then it closed back below. But now what we're seeing is it closed back above it. So not good, especially because it closed back above this previous support, previous resistance now turned support of 4.5%, which just looking at this candle here leads me to believe that we may continue a little higher, which again is not the best. So we may do something like this, we may have a chop and then this, or we may even continue, or we may bounce off of this. But the fact of the matter is we're above this trend line support now and this horizontal support that leads me to believe we may be in for a few more days, weeks of chop slash, higher, which would mean most alts in Bitcoin are going to continue to chop or go lower. So watching this closely here, we need to get back below this 4.5% to get bullish again, in my opinion, especially if we can get back below this trend line support. So watching this very closely. But yeah, the RSI here, it's stagnating just below 50, which is good. Hopefully it rejects off of that. But the daily here, you can see it's curving back to the upside. Looks like it wants to go a little bit further. So yeah, keeping a close eye on this for USDT dominance. Next resistance is going to be 5%, which would be a lot. There'd be a lot of bleeding in alts if we go all the way to 5%. I'll just say that. So again, exercise caution. It's not saying it's going to go to 5%. It's just saying be ready because we did close the weekly above this 4.5%. So things could get interesting. Now looking at Solana. So Solana was doing good. It was above 100, but it could not stay above it on the daily. So now it's back below 200. So 200 is that line in the sand where if it's above 200, bullish, if it's below, bearish. So unfortunately right now, looking towards a bearish sentiment. And for anyone that's looking to trade Solana, place your limit orders at 180. Go to Blowfin, link in description, sign up, place your limit orders at 180 on 3x leverage and just wait it out there. And then 160 is another great DCA level. Because you can see on that huge wick to the downside that we had whenever everyone was scared, we wicked all the way down to 177. So are we going to go down there again? Hard to say, but nonetheless, I would say 180, huge support as you can see. I mean, if you take it all the way back here, previous resistance now turns support. So if we break this, then you're looking at 160, previous resistance turns support. So 180, 160, very good levels to DCA. Let's see, and then resistance, obviously around this 200 level, and then going to 224 is going to be a big resistance. So if you're thinking of selling on that leverage, then I would say first take some profits around 200, and then take some profits around 220. Looking at the comments, it says, let's see, 0x says, are you sharing alpha and gym hunters as well? Yes, yes, yes. I will be sharing some alpha in there as well. Try to keep you guys apprised. Again, the biggest thing with gym hunters is just trying to keep people informed of the market, trying to provide some value, because you have the free gym hunters and you have the paid gym hunters. The paid is going to be, consistent alpha every day, leverage trades every day, gym picks every day, daily market updates. Like it's going to be basically daily everything versus the free group, which you do have some good content, but it's not daily. And like the gym reports aren't up to date versus in the paid group it is. So again, there's just little nuances, but nonetheless in the free group, there's going to be some good content as well. So highly recommend everyone try to join that because it is going to be very good. Let's see. Aiden says, what do you think about Sol and Hype? Yeah, so just went over Sol. Yeah, Sol right now, again, under 200, still bearish. So I'm waiting until 180. That's the biggest thing right now. I'm not going to get overly bullish or overly bearish. I'm just going to wait till 180. If it comes good, if not, then I'm going to wait for a break above 200 and a retest on the daily and a bounce. That's going to be the big thing for this level here. This, call it 200 to 204, to actually show itself as support, confirm as support, and then continue higher, or this 180 to reach. So either one right there. And then Hype, I'm actually very bullish on Hype. So let's go ahead and bring that chart up. So Hype does have their Hyper EVM coming out fairly soon. And for Hype, I would say if you are looking for an entry on it, 23 may not be a bad level. So keep an eye on 23. And then also 20. So guys, $20 on Hype is like the money entry. If you can get 20, like go on to Blowfin, go to Hype, place the limit order, 3x leverage for $20. Because this is the money entry. You can see how quickly it bounces from 20 every time on the daily. If for some reason it breaks through 20, 1780 would be the next big area in my opinion. So 1780 and 20, but 20 is going to be the big area here. So for resistance, 2730 is going to be big resistance for Hype, and then $32 and then 35. And so again, you could DCA a little at 23, but the majority, I mean, actually here's what I would say. I would say 2170 DCA, and then $20 if you get there, go even heavier. So maybe like 30% of your position in 2170, and then the rest of it at $20 if you can get it. Because there's going to be a lot of bidding around $20 for Hype if we get there. So the RSI right now is at 50. So again, it is reset on the daily, not too bad. And then the stock RSI is oversold, but again, it looks like it's curving back to the downside. So maybe a few more days of chop before we resume back to the upside. So yeah, that's why I would say wait for this 2170 and $20. And then guys, if it doesn't come, it doesn't come. Don't try to force the trades. Just try to get the best risk reward. That's all about what trading is. Getting the best risk reward, where most people have their stop losses, you have your entry. That's what trading's all about. But yeah, bullish on Hype. Sol waiting for lower. Let's see. Asubone says, I'm in Gym Hunters, but for no, the bot don't load and I can't join again, and got the same problem. Yeah, a lot of people got the same problem, unfortunately, with the sign up process. So again, just kind of wait it out and see what happens with the bot. Luke will post updates, as well as the teams will post updates as whenever that can get resolved. See, Iman says, INJ, please. Yep, let's go ahead and look at INJ. So for INJ, it's at $14 right now. And, you know, it did, actually, it doesn't look too bad, because we did have a little stop loss hunt here from this support around $14. And then we had stop loss, everyone got stopped out, and now it's curving back to the upside. So INJ isn't looking too bad. If you want a DCA here, it may not be a bad level. I do know that the RSI did cross over that signal line, but is going back to the downside. So potentially, I'd probably wait until $13, most likely, to get a good entry on INJ. And then for the stock RSI, it is still curving to the upside, so it doesn't look too bad there. But yeah, I'd probably at the very least wait until 13. And then from there, I would look at potentially, you know, maybe a little bit, you could say a little bit lower at about 1140 to get to this wick. But yeah, I mean, really at the end of the day, INJ, the next big support is going to be 950. So if you can get it at 950 maybe, but I'm not touching INJ personally, just because the relative strength versus everything else, it just doesn't look that good to me. But if you want to enter it, then yeah, maybe a little here and then a little at $13. And then resistance is going to be, I mean, again, there's all of this chop here. So you have multiple levels. 16 is probably going to be your first big resistance. And then from there, anywhere before 20, you're going to have a lot of resistance. So yeah, INJ doesn't look the best, honestly. See, 0x says Doge. Let's go ahead and check that out. And again, guys, make sure to sign up for Blowfin in the description. And again, you'll get a bonus, as well as it's a non-KYC exchange, so very easy to use for leverage. Highly recommend everyone only trade 3x leverage or less. Do not try to trade anymore, especially in this volatile market. But looking at Doge here, so it is below the 200 EMA, unfortunately. So it actually acted as support, and then it broke below it, and now it's acting as resistance. So what I would say for this is, you know, right now it's rejecting off of the signal line. Not looking the best for Doge. For an entry, I would place a limit order near $22. If you can get 22 for Doge, that'd be a good entry. Just above its previous wick. And then below that, I would say 17 cents is the next best level. But yeah, 22 should be fairly good. It was big resistance in the past. Now it should turn as support. So 22 cents is good. RSI should be oversold again if it gets there. And the stock RSI forming a nice little double bottom on the daily. So not too bad as well. So yeah, I would say Doge 22, resistance near 26 and 30. Iden says, thanks for the info. What about Link? Looks at good supports. Yeah, for Link, let's go ahead and bring that up. So Link, I was actually talking about this in the last stream. So Link looks to be, it's actually above its 200-day EMA, which is a little bit better. So for Link, what I would say is either A, wait for it to break above this $19 level, then retest it as support, or B, wait for another test of $18, which again isn't really much further from where it is now, and then you could potentially buy here at the 200 EMA support. So not too bad right now. The RSI is curving back to the downside, so maybe wait until this gets oversold. The stock RSI is slowly curving back to the upside, so not too bad here. But yeah, I would say for Link, just at least wait for it to get back to its 200 EMA to bet near $18. And then if you can get it near 15, this would be a very good entry on Link. So, because that's where we bounced that last time from the huge wick to the downside, as well as it's already major support. So, yeah, either buying a little here at the 200 EMA, then DCAing down at 15, waiting for the break above this $19, retesting as support, then buying here, or really just kind of waiting out the chop here and then seeing what happens. So, probably one of these two scenarios I'd wait for versus buying here. But again, it is above the 200 EMA. It has shown as support, so maybe a good level. Now, next, let's see what else we have. So let's go ahead and look at some of the top gainers for today. So Bitcoin's already at 95.6K. Top gainer is going to be Cardano, Kaspa, Sonic, OKB. Again, nothing too crazy right now. Cardano, I do know that there was an ETF that ended up being filed for Cardano. Let me see if I can actually cover that. Let's see. So yeah, there's people here saying Microsoft is likely partnering with Cardano. Not sure if that's true. Here, this was it. So Grayscale filed for Cardano ETF with the New York Stock Exchange. So this is something that came out that a lot of people were bullish on, and why we see top Cardano in the top gainers today. So let's go ahead and chart it. Now remember, especially if the US passes a law for 0% taxes on capital gains for US-based crypto companies, that would make Cardano send, XRP, Algo, HBAR, etc. So don't sleep on those US-based cryptocurrencies. Those are still, still definitely a play. All right, so for Cardano, right now we're in the middle of a range, so I wouldn't be buying here. I'd be waiting for a retest of 65 cents. So 65 would be my first level, and then the second level would be where it wicked last time, so around 50 cents. So these two levels. Now, the RSI does look good on the daily. It was oversold, crossed back to the upside above the signal line. Same as the stock RSI, looks like a little double bottom here. So these look good. So I'm expecting Cardano probably to reach 84 cents before chopping, and then depending what happens from there. Again, if we reject back to the downside, 65 is a great level to DCA on Cardano, and then 50 cents. Resistance, 84, followed by $1.14. I think those are realistic levels. And then obviously going for, near these local highs of 130. That could be the next level, but yeah. So far, so good with Cardano. Strong performance. Iden says, how long are you using the stock RSI? What's the advantage of it? So I've been using the RSI and stock RSI for a while. The RSI is really one of the best indicators to use. Everyone uses it, and it's a good measure. I mean, it's relative strength index, right, in the name. So it's a good measure of price strength, telling when something is oversold, i.e. too many people are fearful and selling, whereas, it's a good value for the buy, versus overbought when too many people are greedy, and eventually we can't expect a pullback. So it's a great indicator of that, kind of silence some of the noise. And then also the stock RSI is a little bit different measurement, but whenever it's near these tops and we do have this cross back to the downside, you can expect the trend to change. So just like we had this cross, We had this cross the downside, and then eventually we did see this follow through, just like here. We had this cross the downside when it was overbought, and then we had this follow through, right? So again, combine these, and you can see either A, when it gets overbought, you know, eventually we're going to have a curve back to the downside, especially when you have this cross down on the stock RSI, lining up with the overbought on the RSI. Huge moves to the downside. So you just got to pair these together, and you can capture a lot of these moves. So really good to use these in congruence with each other. So highly recommend it. But next, let's see what else we got in the market. Again, guys, if you got any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I'll still keep going with the live stream for a little bit. Really right now, things to look forward to for the upcoming calendar for February is we do have the Aptos unlock, which was today. We have the Binance FTM delisting for the rebranding on the 13th. The US PPI numbers is January 14th, and CPI is the 15th. Now, need to double check if this is actually right and double check on these numbers. But let me see US PPI numbers. Let's double check. So, yeah, so right now it says the PPI numbers is February 13th, 2025. So, versus here, which they have it as the 14th. So, I believe because these people are in Singapore, so that's why it's showing for their, their date. But yeah, US PPI is going to be the 13th, and then CPI is going to be the 14th. And then you can see here that we have the various dates as well for this. So, yeah, and actually this is January. So let's actually go towards February. So if you scroll down here, let's see, we do have the dates in February, which again, everyone should be watching this. But yeah, US PPI is February 13th. And then also we have the CPI numbers February 12th. So make sure you guys are keeping track of these. Then also we have consensus in Hong Kong on February 18th. FOMC meeting minutes. Again, it isn't the big meeting. The big meeting, I believe, is in March 19th. And then also the Melania circulating supply token unlock, February 20th. Make sure you guys are keeping an eye on this. It could be a good shorting opportunity. So watching Melania as well. I'm definitely watching it. Then also you have Ton with the integration with Telegram. Interested to see if this has any effect on the network with coin, etc. But yeah, it's going to be watching that very closely. And then NVIDIA earnings call is February 26th. So could this create some hype for AI? I know that Saudi Arabia recently announced their investment of $1.5 billion into AI infrastructure. So that caused a mini AI, run over the past 24 hours. You can see here that we had ARK up 40% today. So yeah, so a lot of different AI coins were pumping. So it shows you that AI coins are still here to stay. So definitely keep an eye on that. Next, let's go ahead and see if anyone has any questions. Again, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. Also, if you guys aren't following me on X, I do have a profile of the CryptoData. I try to post useful data as well. I have my own Telegram. So definitely join me on there. I do post a lot of good content for you guys. But besides the upcoming events here that we have in February, we also have Token 2049. So remember, guys, I'm going to be at this. If you guys aren't, highly recommend everyone come. It's going to be a good event, especially with the side events. 30 April to May 1st. So it's going to be a great, especially if you can get these tickets early. And then, like we mentioned earlier, the FOMC meeting is going to be March 19th. So make sure you guys are watching that, because if the Fed does lower interest rates, that's going to be a big catalyst for the market, especially if they end quantitative tightening. So there's rumors that the Fed is going to end quantitative tightening in June. So that would actually be a catalyst to alt season, and people could start front running that. So that's when you could see a lot of these prices, a lot of these support levels start to be front run. So keep an eye when the Fed ends quantitative tightening. It's going to be a very, very bullish catalysts. So keep an eye on that. But again, as far as the rest of the market is concerned, I'm just waiting to see what happens, because we do have a lot of chop. That's why I'm not rushing to invest right now. I'm waiting to get to these major support levels is what I would recommend everyone else to do as well. And like I said, 3x leverage is going to be your best bet for a lot of these plays. Looking at strong plays only, so you got Ethereum, XRP, Solana, Doge, and Cardano and Hype. Hype is probably one of my biggest plays. So if you can get Hype and you're $20, that's going to be a good level as well. But I'll go ahead and give it a few minutes if anyone has any questions as far as any other tokens you want me to look at. And then if not, then we'll end the stream here. But again, these streams are every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 12 p.m. CST. So again, these are trading streams. I try to keep you guys updated with the market as well as where I'm looking for purchase prices and support levels for tokens to buy them at the best RR, especially with leverage trading. You want to make sure you're getting the best entry. So Don says, what about Aave? Looks similar to Link. So Aave could be a play as well. I know Aave, some people see it as maybe an ETH beta play, similar to Pepe and others, but Aave is obviously a lot stronger in terms of fundamentals. But for Aave, I would say, yeah, it does look similar to Link in the sense that it is above the 200 EMA on the daily, so good observation there. 232 would be the level I'm watching for Aave. I play some bids near 232, and then, yeah, 223 would be the next level. So right now the RSI is curving to the downside, so I'm in no rush to enter right now. But like I said, hopefully it should reset by the time it gets to 232. And then also this level here of 223, I think it's going to be a good little area for you to bid, especially if it can coincide with the RSI being oversold. So yeah, so I think these levels here, 220 to 232, some good bid levels here. And then below that, I would say 200. So 200 is going to be a good level. Really 197. So if you can get Aave near 197, amazing support level here. So that's where we wicked down last time. You can see everyone had a lot of bids there. That's where all these whales are looking. Like they're trying to bid at these big levels because they have shown to be previous resistance turned support in the past. And so, yeah, anywhere near 220 to 230, good bid. And then anywhere near 200, it's going to be a good bid as well. So that's what I'm watching for Aave. Resistance is going to be 260 followed by 300. So yeah, Aave maybe not a bad play either. But if anyone has any other questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. Again, even about the market, doesn't necessarily have to be about a token, about the market, what you're thinking about the market. I'm still waiting for until there's more clarity. Again, you have the whole thing with Trump and the tariffs of China and the EU, uncertainty between him and the government. Anytime there's macro uncertainty, it bleeds over into crypto, because when there's uncertainty in the market, what do people get rid of first? Their riskiest assets, which that's crypto, so versus stocks. And then even further down, they get rid of meme coins. That's why you have meme coins getting wrecked while there's uncertainty in the market. So yeah, if you're trading meme coins right now, like the trenches, we did have a few good days, but we quickly saw how fast that can turn, where people take profits immediately on their memes. So just keep that in mind. But for now, I am just waiting for these levels, not really jumping the gun for the market, so to speak. And I'm just waiting for these, this price to come to me, not chasing. That's what I recommend everyone doing. Again, guys, if you got any questions about the Blowfin exchange, definitely watch my previous video on it. I have a nearly 20-minute tutorial video on how to trade on Blowfin. It's in the description, as well as all my other links, my Telegram, X account, Instagram, YouTube, etc. So if you guys like this video, you like this stream, please go ahead and give it a like, and please comment if you guys have any questions, as well as, let me know what you want me to stream on next time. This is going to be Tuesday through Thursday, 12 p.m. CST. I want to make sure to give you guys the best content I can, try to be as consistent as possible so that you guys are getting up to date with the market, as well as getting the best entries on a lot of these tokens so you can continue to stay one step ahead. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate everyone watching. Until next time.